Hey, this is Bishop George Johnson Jr. This is another opportunity to live your dream and to step into your purpose. Listen, I don't care what you're going through, what you're experiencing, what you are fighting right now, the mountain or the challenge that you're trying to climb. I don't care where you are. I want you to know without a doubt in your mind, yes, you were born to win. Got an amazing word for you guys. We closed out last week when we were talking about unfocused focus. This month, we're starting a whole new series. It's going to be an amazing series titled The Little Things. Title The Little Things. And so, as I'm ministering, this is Black History Month. And so generally I will have a break in here and I will talk about the Black presence in the Bible for about a minute and try to share that with you. I'm going to bring that next week. But right now we're going to get into this powerful word because I believe it's going to be a little bit longer than I use a lot of my messages because it's a message that changed my life. It's something that I have to constantly fight and have to constantly warfare against. And it's the little things. Ed Reed, two-time NFL football champion, played for the Baltimore Ravens, was appointed the head coach at Bethune-Cookman College, but decided to go in a different direction, was asked in an interview right before they lost the game. This is the question that he was asked. They had lost the game to Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. New England Patriots were the best team at this particular time. And they just could not seem to get over that hump. I mean, every time they would face the New England Patriots, they were the ones that would put them out of the playoff and stop them from going to the Super Bowl. This particular year, they had the right team, the right defense. And then again, the only difference was they're playing in Foxborough. The game comes down to a couple of plays. They lose again. The interviewer asked Ed Reed, he said, when you lost that game, what did you go in the locker room and do? Ed Reed said, I went in the locker room. He said, I pulled the whole team together, everybody, and I looked them right in the face. And he said, guys, we don't deserve to win a championship. He said, we don't deserve to win a championship. And everybody looked puzzled, like, what are you talking about? I mean, almost upset. I was like, what do you mean we don't deserve to win the championship? I played just as hard as you do. I worked as hard as you do. I put in the labor, the time, everything that you do. I put that in. What do you mean we don't deserve to win a championship? He said, you don't deserve to win a championship. He said, because it's the little things. You see, the championship, the big thing about the big thing, the championship, that is not what gets you. That there are a lot of little steps. What he was trying to explain to them, in order to get to the championship. Listen to the little things he said. He said, "How can we deserve to be a champion?" And I look around this locker room, and some of y'all lockers are filthy. You won't even clean your locker, but you want to be a champion. He said, how can we deserve to be champions when we come out of the showers and the shower bin is right there? Those of us that play football know when you walk out of the shower, they have the big tubs right there. And when you walk out, you just drop the towel right there. You drop the towel in the bin. He says, some of you guys walk right by that bin and you drop your towel on the floor. How are you going to call yourself a champion when you can't even pick your towel up off the floor and put it in the bin? Better yet, as you're walking past the bin, put it inside of the bin. He said, how are you going to call yourself a champion? And he said, when I look around this locker room, it's paper and food and all of this stuff everywhere. He said, we don't even clean up after ourselves. He said, how can you call yourself a champion and you won't do the little things? The next off season, they worked on the little things. And then they went in there and faced the New England Patriots again. But this time, it was a more focused, a more disciplined, a more ready moment football team for that opportunity. And that year, they won the Super Bowl. Perhaps you're asking the same question. Why is it that I always have to face this situation? Perhaps you're asking, why is it that I always have trouble on my job? Everybody else got it easy. Everybody else, they won't pass. Everybody else, they won't say anything to. But why is it when it comes to me, why is it I always have some type of trouble? Why is it my children always acting up? Have you ever asked yourself that? Why is it that I'm always broke? Why is it that I don't have money? Why is it that I'm always struggling with my finances? Why am I addicted to this? You want to quit? You want to stop? You want to so bad. But you're like in a cycle of failure and addiction. And there's nothing you've done in your power. You've tried everything. The preacher told you to turn around 3 times, jump up and down, and you did everything he told you to do. But yet, you're still failing. Why am I so angry? Why am I so angry? Why am I so resentful? Why am I so jealous? Why am I so envious? Have you ever asked yourself these questions? What is it about me? Why is it? What's causing this thing? Perhaps it's the little things. Perhaps it's the little things that feeding the anger. Perhaps it's the little things that feeding the addiction. Perhaps it's the little things that's feeding the jealousy and envy and the strife. And you can't seem to get over the hump. You can't seem to walk to the next level in your life. This message is going to focus on the little things. The little things that are holding you back. The little things that are trapping you. The little things that are keeping you from going to the next level. Our background text is coming from Songs of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 15. Songs of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 15. And in that text, he says, catch us the foxes. He said, because it's the little foxes that spoil the vine. It's the little things, the little foxes, not the big, the little foxes that spoil the vine. We're going to focus on 7, what I would say 7 little things. I believe that is setting you back from going to the next level. 7 little things. I believe that if you focus in on these 7 things over the next few weeks. These 7 things, I believe when you come out, you're going to be better on the other side. The first lesson we're going to talk about offense. We're going to talk about that tonight. Next week, we're going to talk about unforgiveness, a little fox. Number 3, we're going to talk about regret, a little fox. Then we're going to talk about rejection, a little. Why is it that my marriage is always suffering? Why is it that we can't be intimate with one another? Why is it that we're struggling in this area? It's probably the little fox of rejection. And then we're going to deal with one I had to deal with, anger. I always had an attitude. My wife told me one time, I remember she said to me, she said, honey, this little attitude ain't cute. She said, it was cute when you were young. She said, but this pouting, a grown man pouting, perhaps you pouting. It's a little fox. Number 6, we're going to deal with a little fox. A lot of people think this is a big one, but it's a little one that feeds a lot of things. Jealousy versus envy, a little fox. And then the last lesson we're going to deal with strife, a little fox. Tonight, we're going to talk about offense. Offense. Now, this is one that I don't care. I've had to fight this one. I have had to fight being offended. I was one that will always have his feelings on his shoulders. I was one that always felt like I had to overcompensate. I was one that will always feel like I had to say this and I had to. And then when you start overcompensating, you almost lying. If you really pull back the layers and you really begin to look at it, is it really true what you're saying? I had to deal with being offended. You're talking about somebody that didn't tolerate being disrespected. Let me tell you how powerful I believe this message is going to be. I had to fight it this week. So I go into the store to buy my wife an outfit because her mother is turning 75 this year. And we're traveling to go and to a party that they're throwing for her mom. When I was in the store, I was getting an outfit for my wife. Those of you that don't know, my wife and I were backwards, right? I do all the clothes shopping. If you see me on TikTok or Facebook, you know I got swag. Everybody know that. The bishop is smooth. I'm not going to be smooth. I shop for clothes for my family. I do the school shopping for my boys. Our roles are different. And that's why I always tell people all the time, you can't have a cookie cutter marriage. You can't say because this is how this marriage is, this is how my marriage is going to be. No, you have to find out what works for you all. And then find the roles and fit those roles and master those roles so that your marriage can work. So, but in my house, I'm the one that does the clothes shopping. I'm the one that loves to cook. I love to cook. Now, my wife, she loves to cook too now. And when Kim cook, baby, she can do it. I mean, I'm not trying to put on a pedestal, but that girl can throw down when she do it. But I roll the switch. But anyway, get back to my story. I walk into the store, and this lady was so rude to me, y'all. You would have thought it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible how she treated me. And I was so disgusted. Now, here's the deal. I could understand almost because of the racial tension that's in America. I could understand almost if it was a person of a different race because, you know, racism is real in America. Racism is a thing that we have had to fight in this country. But this was not a person of the opposite race. This was my sister. Same struggle, same fight. She was absolutely awful. But I had to fight offense. But let's talk about what is offense. Let's talk about what is offense. What is offense? The act of displeasing or affronting. To cause to be upset or hurt the feelings of someone. Listen, to cause to be upset. That's what I was faced with. To cause to be upset her behavior, how she threw the bag at me, how she was rude and she cut me off. I bought my wife some jeans, and on the jeans it had a red rose on it. But when I walked in, I kind of just glanced it. I didn't really look at it. I kind of glanced it, and I asked her. I said, "Hey, so where are the jeans with the red red paw print on them? I thought it was a red paw going down the leg." And so she went and looked, and she found. She said, "That's a rose," and threw them at me. Horrible. The act. I had an opportunity to be offended. So to cause to be upset or to hurt the feelings of someone. The Bible defines offense as a bait. I want you to really get this before we move forward, because I want you to understand what it is. The Bible, and the best way I can do this, I want to show you this picture. I'm going to show it to you in a minute, but the Bible defines offense as a bait. We all know what baits are used for. A bait is used to trap. So I want to show you this picture here. If you look at this hook right here on the screen, that's a hook that a fisherman or fisher person would use to go fishing. The Bible is saying that the offense is not the hook. You see that? The Bible says that the offense is the bait on the hook. And we all know what happens when a fish goes after that bait. They're hooked. They're trapped. They're caught. That's what the enemy wants to do to you. The Bible calls it a hook. He puts it in front of you so that it'll hook you and trap you. And then when you're trapped, now you're in bitterness. Now you're in resentment. Now you're in unforgiveness. Now you're in hatred. Now you're in strife. You're in all. Now it's wrapped over. It's not the strife. It's not the anger. It's not the hurt, the crying, and all of that stuff, and the disappointment. It's not all of that. Offense is the hook. The offense is the bait on the hook that the enemy uses to trap you. He sets it up so pretty, just like he did this weekend Monday when I was in the store. He does it so beautifully. I had a right to be upset. She threw the bag at me. I had a right to be upset. She did all of this stuff that was so out of character, I had a right to be upset. But the enemy used that to trap me. So now I can get into a whole conversation. Now I can argue and fuss and fight, be in my feelings, walk out of the store mad, and possibly miss the blessing and the miracle of God. Because here's the blessing and the miracle of God. I went to another store. Now, just think now, if I was just all in the arguing, if she calls the police, hit this black man, all this, we all understand what possibly could have happened. I'm a professional in this community. We know what possibly could have happened in that situation. It's a trap. He was using her behavior. He was using her attitude, her whatever she was upset about, to trap me into a conversation, to pull me into a conversation. And then I possibly would have missed the blessing that I got when I went to the other store. Let me hurry up and finish this. What is the purpose of offense? Offense has two primary purposes. An offense has two primary purposes. Number one, it's used to attack your focus. Whenever the enemy, and I'm telling you, thank you, I'm telling you, because I was having such a good day. I was focused. Me and my wife had just got out the conversation. We might make some plans. We was focused on some different things that we're trying to do with them. We were having some good, wholesome conversations. When I walked out of that store, guys, I was so angry and upset. I sat in the car for a minute. I said, now I'm going to go in here. But you know what I said? I choose to forgive. I choose to let it go. I choose to relinquish. Because, see, It's attacking your focus. It's attacking your focus. I see it all the time on good football teams. I see it all the time on good basketball teams. I see it all the time in wonderful organizations. He uses offense to attack the focus of the organization. Everybody else is doing the project. You did the most work. You did everything that you were supposed to do. You showed up on time. Everybody's participating now, but you did everything you're supposed to do. You did the most work. And then when the boss get up and he recognized everybody in the room but you. And you did the most work. You did the most labor. Attack your focus to pull you apart. The second reason why offense is used is to cause discord. One of my favorite scriptures in the Bible, it says this. He says there are six things the Lord hates. Yeah, seven is an abomination. At the top of the list, number one is sowing discord among the brethren. God hates discord. So offense is aimed at to attack your focus. It's also aimed at causing discord. What causes offense? There's four primary causes of offense. Number one, it could be words, of course. She didn't say anything, but sometimes your words can cause offense. My wife used to tell me that all the time. She was like, honey, you could say, you could be just nasty sometimes when you say something. I didn't realize I was being nasty. I didn't. I was just talking. But she had to bring that to my attention. And she said, you're being offensive on how you're saying that. Because words. But what caused my offense was number two. Number two, actions. Actions can cause offense. I see it all the time in marriage. Husband and wife, husband, they want to be with their wives. Wife, oh, I got a headache. I'm tired. I don't feel good. They feel offended, rejected, all of that. Offense. The actions. You've been asking your husband to take you out forever. Take you out, take you out, take you out. The night y'all was supposed to go out, he forgot and worked late. You're offended. Offense. Number three, disappointment. Let me tell you, you could be disappointed at God. Let me tell y'all this story. I'm gonna probably end right here. I'll pick up next week. But no, I gotta get through this. Okay, so you could be offended at God. I was so upset with God, y'all. Let me tell y'all something. I was angry. So years ago, I was applying for this head coaching position. I thought I was supposed to get him, and I was most qualified. I worked hard. I did everything I was supposed to do to get this position, and they chose somebody else less qualified. Y'all, you talking about offended. Man, I was praying, binding, loosening, confessing. Man, I was talking in tongues, speaking in tongues, giving, sowing seed. Me and my wife, we warfare. We marching around the house, chanting, hollering, screaming. And they said no. Y'all, I was angry at the organization, but I was mad at God. I was like, God, you're supposed to give me that position. You know I deserved it. Some of y'all are probably offended with God. But let me tell you why that door didn't open. Because a month from that day, God opened a much bigger door. A much larger door. And if I would have took that position, I never would have been able to experience all that God has for me. For the truth. The truth offends. The truth offends. I mean, one time we were sitting in a leadership meeting, and y'all have to know my pastor's wife, Apostle Nicole, and we were sitting in a leadership meeting, and I got called out. It was the truth, what she said. It was the truth. I was so offended and hurt. I had to grow up. Sometimes you need to grow up. Sometimes you need to grow up. How do we overcome offended? Well, here's where I'm going to close at today. You have to overcome offense. Always remember OPD. Everybody say OPD, 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 OPD. Follow the example of Jesus. Jesus, if anybody should have been offended, it should have been Jesus. He was rejected. They tried to throw him off a cliff, y'all. He said, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. All he did is got me. He said, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He's anointed me to preach. They got so mad, they tried to throw him off a cliff. Off a cliff. Now, ain't nobody ever tried to throw him off no cliff for preaching. They tried to throw Jesus off a cliff. He was denied. He was betrayed by his homie. He was, right before he was about to step on the cross, he asked people that he helped, people that he fed, people that he gave to, hey man, just pray with me, please, pray, please help, pray with me. Everybody he gave to, everybody he helped was not there for him in his time of need. And you know what he told them? Man, y'all go get some rest. I understand. Sleep on. I understand. I got it. If anybody should have been offended, was Jesus. He was challenged by church folks. That's what I call the Pharisees and Sadducees. I call them today's church folks. He was challenged by them. If you be the Son of God, do that. If you be challenged. He was abused. And if anybody should be offended, it was Jesus. He was beaten. He was abused. He was spit on. And did all that. And he said, forgive him. He got blamed for somebody's death. Mary said, Martha said, if you would have been here, my brother would not have died. You blaming me for your brother's death. Not offended at all. Not offended at all. Why was Jesus not offended? He practiced OPD. OPD. Bishop, what is OPD? Origin, purpose, and destiny. Jesus knew where he came from. He knew his purpose. And he knew what he was destined to do. And where he was going and what he was destined to do. He knew his origin. He knew where he came from. He was confident in where he came from. He was confident that when I speak, all of heaven speaks. He was confident. Whether you believe in me or not, I don't care. He was confident. He was confident in who he was. And then he knew his assignment, his purpose. And he let nothing pull him off his purpose. He was up there preaching one time. They interrupted his sermon. He was up there preaching. And you know, family do. Hey, Jesus. Wait, hey, Jesus. Stop preaching, Jesus. Hey, your mama don't want you. They want you to come. What? But he knew his purpose. He knew nothing stopping from his purpose. No hiccup, no downfall, no trouble, no storm. Nothing. He allowed people, when they doubted, I don't care if you doubt, I'm not going to let this stop their purpose. And then his destiny. When it was painful and he wanted to walk away, he was praising, if it's possible, let this cup of suffering pass from me. But he thought about today. He said, nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done. When they were asleep, when his homeboy walked up and kissed him on the cheek, you know, like how we go, it was nothing funny about it. You know, you go get somebody dap and you hug them. Well, back then they gave each other dap and they kissed each other on the cheek. And when he kissed him on the cheek, he knew he was betraying him. But he looked at him and he said, friend. He knew his destiny. Know your origin. Know your purpose. Know your destiny. Allow nothing to stop your assignment. I don't care who believes. As long as you believe, that's enough. God bless you. We'll see you on next